This exercise, we're going to look at how to make a motion tween that follows a path. We're going to use a file that I've supplied. It's called b.fla, and you need to download that and open that particular file. Once you've got the file open, you should have it something like this in front of you. I'm going to double click on the B and edit that, because the first thing I want to do is change the wings so that they're a bit blurred and they can, and there's two of them. I could go into how to actually make the wings buzz like the bee, but we'll leave that for another time. So double click on the bee and you can see that I've actually got the wing highlighted there. If you look in the library, you can see that the wing is one of the items in the library. I'm going to click on that wing and go to its properties, and under here where it says color effect, I'm going to choose alpha, and I'm going to set the wing down to around about 50%, so it's partially opaque. And I'm also going to add a filter to it by clicking on adding filter. And the filter I'm going to add is a blur filter, so that it gives the appearance of being slightly blurred. You can change the number of pixels and you can link that. I might make that around about 6 pixels, just so it's a little bit larger. And you can see that it's got a little bit of a blurring around the wing there. So that's good, I'm happy with that. And I'm going to click off now, and you can see that the wing is blurred and it's and has a little bit of a opacity to it. I'm also going to drag another wing in, so I'll go to click on the library and drag my wing in, drag another wing in. Actually, that's not exactly what I want to do. I'll delete that. In fact, I think what I'll do is I will duplicate that wing. So if I go click on the wing and go Command D or Control D on a PC, and I'm going to click on my transform tool, which is up there, or click on the Q key, move my rotation point down a bit, and then rotate my wing slightly, maybe move it up. Let's click off and see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to go back to my stage. Up here you'll see we've been in the B editing mode. So I'll go back to scene 1, and you can see down here the B has been made up of a number of layers. And the one we've been working on is called the wings. I'm going to click back onto scene 1, and I've done with my editing of my B. So I'll click my V tool from my selection tool and go back to the actual scene. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this V fly across the stage. I might move its initial position across a bit so it's back off the stage, and I'm going to go to about frame 80 and hit my F5 key to make just a normal frame. So that my B is in transition. Now this is a motion tween. There is a classic tween, and they're made slightly differently using keyframes, but these motion tweens can be made just using normal frames. To make a motion frame, I'm going to click somewhere in my grey area and go with a right click and go create motion tween. Now I'll move my playhead back to where I want to start, and that's where my starting point is. I'm going to go and put a frame at around about frame 20, which is around about a quarter of the way across the screen. So I'll move my B now from where it is to around about a quarter of the way to where I want it to be. Drag my B across to where it is, roughly there, and you can see that it creates a blue set of lines. Now that's my motion tween. I'll now go to frame 40 I'll move my B across to roughly halfway across the screen. Frame 60, click onto frame 60, drag, move my B across to 3/4 of the way, say, and then finally to frame 80, and I'll drag my B off the screen. And if I play now by hitting return, you can see the B flies across the screen. That's wonderful. Now, kind of what I want it to do, but I would like it to have some more interactivity or a bit more action. So whilst I'm still in my selection tool, I'm going to drag up to and hover over my line. Now, because I've put 3 different, almost 4 different points along the line, as I hover over each of those points, you get a slightly different shape in the selection tool. If I hover over where frame 20 is, for example, you'll see that my selection tool turns to a corner. If I hover over frame 40, the same thing. I'll go back to my frame 80. We'll take my B out of the way. Now, I'm going to hover over roughly about the middle of my motion tween dots and drag up. So my B goes up. Go roughly to the middle of the second one, drag down, so I've got a downward motion. Drag up on the third one, and drag down on the fourth one. And now, when I hit enter, my B is following that path. And if I hit Command return or Control enter, there's my B following the path. Of course, it would look a lot more exciting if the wings flapped, and we can do that. But for the moment, we were just creating a motion tween. Your challenge then would be to make those wings flap by going into the wing and creating a movie for the actual wing. Have a go at that and see how you go.